All right, Mark Rogers TV, the voice of college football, breaking down National Signing Day. We are lining up the media guests throughout the afternoon. Included in the fray is Jason Ray from Last Word on College Football, who's helped us out a number of times on Oklahoma. Of course, the Sooners are headed toward that Orange Bowl showdown with Alabama, but today's all about the future and what has turned out to be the National Signing Day. And for Lincoln Riley, he's certainly adjusted to this mad rush of traffic in terms of trying to prepare a football team for the biggest game of the year and one of the biggest in the history of the program, and then also getting some of the top prospects in. Jason, I appreciate you jumping on board here. You mentioned before we started to record that there's been some recent news that is a pleasant surprise to yourself and Sooner Nation.
Yeah, absolutely. From the kind of on the recruiting front, earlier this morning, Oklahoma got a commitment from Jeremiah Criddell, Mater Dei, four-star defensive back. Looks like he has the opportunity to start to help out right away, immediately as an immediate need for the Sooners. There's also been a lot of talk about kind of the QB. These quarterbacks on the transfer market. You know, Justin Fields has been a guy that's over the last couple of days that has announced his intention to transfer from Georgia, and I think Oklahoma's been on the short list along with Ohio State, and I think Florida State is right there with him as well. So I mean, I think certainly the fact that Riley has back-to-back Heisman Trophy winners is a big selling point, and I think that another selling point is the opportunity for him to come in and start right away. There's a couple of guys, Austin Kendall, kind of in the bullpen, as well as Spencer Rattler, which is one of the recruits that signed with Oklahoma today. So and I think a lot of people think that from a late signing period perspective, Jaden Haselwood is one of the best receivers in the country who has decommitted from Georgia a while back, and it looks like it's between Oklahoma and Miami for his services. Of course, he's going to sign and announce that on January 4th at the All-Star game that he's playing in. But over the last probably 24 hours, there's been a lot of momentum towards Oklahoma. Lots of, if you follow 247 recruiting, I think they had about 2% to 3% of the crystal balls going to Oklahoma as much as 48 hours ago, and now it's up to about 23% earlier than now. Just about 5 minutes ago, there was a couple of other services that flipped, and he's right in line. I think he's at 32%. Miami's at about 32%. So it's really kind of a 50-50 match between probably Oklahoma and Miami for his services.
Got Jason Ray on the line from Last Word on College Football. We encourage you to jump on over there to join Jason. You got Kevin McGuffey, Mike Laval, Tony Siracusa, Lauren Beasley, all doing an exceptional job, and they help out me on a regular basis, providing insight on their perspective teams. We're talking Oklahoma football. The Sooners, of course, preparing for the Tide, but with a look ahead to 2019 and beyond with National Signing Day. You've looked over the class. You've looked over the guys that now stands at 20 signed during this early signing period. Who are the guys that you really like that stand out to you?
Yeah, just kind of starting out, has been a commitment of Oklahoma, really from a verbal perspective for the last couple of years. He is a five-star, according to Rivals. He is the #1 overall recruit from a quarterback perspective, #1 ranked quarterback in the country. So that's a positive perspective. He did commit early. Kind of on the negative side, I think it's really kind of based on some of his scheduling within his high school. He will not be enrolling early. He will be enrolling in the summer, kind of a bit from he will certainly compete for that starting job in the fall in 2019, but not getting in the spring. He's got a little bit of a lot of ground to gain as far as that goes. And then really the biggest, the other three biggest gets on the offensive side of the ball are really at the receiver and tight end position. They've got two two receivers in Trajan Bridges and Theo Weiss. Theo Weiss is from Allen, Texas, which is the same high school that produced Kyler Murray. Him and Haselwood are kind of 1-2 in terms of the best receivers in the country. So he's a 5-star himself. He's almost assuredly going to play immediately. I mean, he's got the body. He's 6'2". He's a big, deep threat. I mean, he's a good possession guy. He's very similar. The ball skills, kind of the body, very similar to CeeDee Lamb. It's on campus and starting right now for the Sooners. And then Trajan Bridges, who's more of a inside slot guy, kind of in the more of the mold of a Marquise Brown. Really good ball skills with the ball when the ball's in the air. He runs the ball a little bit out of the wide receiver position, so he's more of a kind of a scat back, if you would from, even though he is right around 6 foot, but he's still kind of on the smaller side. And then finally Austin Stogner, which is the number 1 ranked tight end in the country. Obviously Oklahoma is pretty entrenched at the tight end position with Grant Calcaterra in his sophomore year, but just his size and athletic ability is going to make it hard for him to not get on the field pretty quickly. Yeah, I think I think that around the Sooner Nation, I think that was one of the concerns. Should Riley take more, spend more of his attention around Justin Fields? I mean, Justin's already came out and said that Oklahoma is one of those. Is one of the places that he would be interested in, but at the same time, obviously Oklahoma has to get a guy that has been committed to the school for the last 3 years. I think Mark, that the discussion might be a little bit different if Spencer Rattler was coming in the spring. With him coming in the fall, I think it's all, but certainly he'll challenge for the starting job. But it would be a big ask for a true freshman to come in and Riley's system and be able to start right away. I think probably with the Justin Fields, more the concern might be on Austin Kendall. Austin Kendall's has been in the Sooner program for now. 2019 will be his 4th year. No, I guess the only other thing that I would mention in terms of National Signing Day was, on the defensive side of the ball, Oklahoma has a big need, obviously on the defense. It's pretty much at all levels, right? But I think where they've come in, good with this recruiting class is really at the defensive line and the secondary position. We mentioned Jeremiah Criddell just a little bit ago, one of the top ranked safeties in the country. Jamal Morris is another quarterback at a safety position. So they've got several 4-star guys. They've got 4 different 4-star guys out of the safety and cornerback position that will help them. And a little bit later this afternoon, a guy that Oklahoma's been on for quite some time, Marcus Stripling, is scheduled to make his commitment at 2:30 p.m. Central Standard Time this afternoon. Looks to be a pretty good, heavy Oklahoma lean. That would give the Sooners 4 defensive end, 4-star commitments within the class. So I think that is rounding out on the defensive side a little bit better than some people anticipated.
Yeah, it's a bit difficult to find stellar defensive talent in mass in that area of the country. Of course, Oklahoma goes to Texas quite readily and always has. 7 of the 20 signed players right now from the Lone Star State. Is there anything else that we can expect between now and when Lincoln Riley hits the podium sometime this evening to wrap up the class? Any possible gets that could make a really good class even that much better?
I don't think so, Mark. I mean, outside of Marcus Stripling, who is scheduled this afternoon before Riley hits the podium, I think the only one that we talked about would be more of a late signing period type of thing. But not anything on the horizon that I think that would kind of break within the next couple of hours. But it is recruiting. We're talking about 17, 18-year-old kids, so you never know what could change. But I don't think there's anything outside of the Stripling announcement this afternoon that we would expect.
All right, Oklahoma looking to finish up with the top 10 class and vie with Texas for by far the top class in the Big 12, with the likes of TCU and Iowa State back in the 30s in regards to the national recruiting rankings. Jason Ray on the line from Last Word on College Football, helping us talk Sooner football. Jason, hopefully we can talk Orange Bowl here soon in the next few weeks.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's do it.